Today, oh God, the neighbors. Today we're playing Bound by Flame. Let's get right the fuck into it, my creepies. I hate the intro to this. That's the first time it's ever froze up. I have overclocked the system. It might not work. Oh! Don't know where the fucking I'm at. I'm in some woods in a vigil home.
I am busy, mercenary. Go do what you're getting
paid for.
Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I'd like to ask you a few
Good
questions.
question. I'm cold as fuck.
What do you
What the
want
fuck? I want to know if you'd suck this dick.
So then, any result from the study of all these creatures of the swamps?
Well, I'd really like to meet some of these creatures who live here. But for now...
Let's talk about something else. Let's move on. We'll do level. You!
Mr. Vulcan, what brings you here?
I've got a few questions I'd like to ask about this village.
I imagine there are few who are better placed than myself to answer them.
How come it's you that's running the show here?
What a question. Because, my friend, someone has to. You imagine I'm doing this for my amusement, perhaps? Doubtless you wish it was someone else. The chief of the watch has trouble organizing 3 peasants. Our dear apothecary is evidently keen to give succor to any and every poor soul who wanders into the healing house. And regardless of your reputation, the people of this village would never trust outsiders such as yourself, or even the Red Scribes. So yes, it is indeed I who command here. The one-time steward of the hunting lodge of Valvanor, now leader of this shithole.
Shit.
Well, glad we got that cleared up. What can you tell me about the people of Valvanor?
Before the war, there were just a few families here. Hunters and craftsmen, mostly. These days, they survive as best they can, husbanding their animals and digging up the puny vegetables they've managed to grow. Few dare to venture outside the walls. These woods are fruitful, but more perilous than ever before, and most of these folk know nothing of arms.
But you've got your guards.
They hardly qualify as an armed militia. Of the few that remain, most are sturdy farmers whom we have entrusted with some kind of weapon. Most of the real fighters left the village as soon as war broke out. The others died while out on patrol. The only one left here with any real experience is Mason, the head of the guard. Sadly, the man is a walking beer keg who could not give a dog's fart for what his men are about.
Woo! Going in circles.
Who are all those refugees that you're keeping outside the walls?
The war with the Ice Lords has driven many from their homes and villages. Alas, it would seem that some of them found their way here. I have tried to accommodate as many as we can and provide as much comfort as possible, but I fear we can do little more. We are reaching the end of our reserves, and relations between the refugees and the villagers are becoming strained.
The refugees can't all be dead weight. Some of them have got to be useful.
Oh, if only. Believe me, I would be the first to welcome them. These peasants have been fleeing from town to town and from camp to camp for months. The best and strongest of them perished in battles, somewhere along the way. I must deal with the leftovers. I put the biggest of them in the watch, but they are of little use.
The healing house. It's a pretty good thing for your village, huh?
If you say so. As time has gone by, the healing house has drawn refugees to the swamps in ever greater numbers and dissuaded some malingerers from returning to their families. When it opened its doors a year ago, the sense of relief was palpable. It was run by a couple, an elf doctor and his apothecary wife, who clearly were no strangers to the healing arts. Thanks to them, we were spared many plagues. But as the war dragged on, the endless tide of refugees continued to flow through our gates until we could harbor no more. 6 months ago, our worst nightmares were fulfilled. Our elf doctor fell ill and died. Since then, Mirana has soldiered on without rest, alone. I do not know how much longer she can keep going. The refugees just keep on coming, and I fear that poor woman is beginning to crumble under the strain. It's not surprising.
I need a blacksmith. Do you have one here?
With none more qualified, I asked Asiel to take over the village forge. I suppose I should warn you, he's quite a tricky character. He has a huge ego and is stubborn as an ox. Before the war, he was a sort of artist. He crafted jewelry and sculptures from metal. Despite running the forge, one could hardly call him a blacksmith. But he's the only one here who had even the vaguest notion of how to repair a shovel or straighten a blade.
The captain wants me to help your village. You got a job I can do?
With our shortages of food and fighting men, our worn-out equipment and the growing lines at the healing house, I cannot deny our village is sorely in need of help. Sadly, I fear that these are not the sort of problems you're used to dealing with, unless I'm much mistaken.
Maybe I'll surprise you. So what's the problem with the healing house?
Quite simply, Mirana cannot keep up. She spends every waking minute giving out supplies to the refugees and refuses to admit that she cannot help everyone. She thinks she's fooling me. I have heard rumors that her food stock is running low. Unsurprisingly, the crowds outside are becoming restless. I believe they wish to continue handing out our food reserves as though they were unlimited. This is not the case, and thus, it is not an option.
So, you want someone to put her down?
Why, I never suggested any such thing. I just wish she would see reason, for all our sakes. But I have asked nothing of you. I was merely answering your question.
Welcome back. I'm playing a game.
Nice.
I'm streaming that Bound by Flame
Your
game.
guards... How can I put this? At
You
first,
would
I thought
actually
they were
like
disobeying
this game.
orders. Now I think maybe they don't even understand them. If you're stupid and incompetent, you should be digging turnips, not taking care of security.
You're beginning to worry me. Is it really that bad?
Are you kidding me? The state of their weapons is enough to make you cry. Maybe they'd be good for splitting logs.
Personally, I'm not capable of judging the aptitude of our sentries, but their poor results speak for themselves. Doubtless, you should share your observations with Mason, the chief of the watch. I should warn you, however, that he is of a somewhat stubborn nature.
Wouldn't be the first I've seen. I need the reports about this beast that attacked the villagers.
I fear I am unable to be of help. I'm still not entirely convinced that it even exists. All I know is that several villagers have vanished. One villager is at present in the doctor's care, following a supposed encounter with the said beast. These swamps are crawling with dangers. There is nothing to suggest anything out of the ordinary. The refugees are always inventing horror stories in an attempt to force us to open our gates and let them inside.
It might be worth checking it out. You said you lost one of your patrols, right?
That is so. You should speak with Randval. He was most anxious to go out and hunt the beast down, but we needed him here. Now that we have more able bodies to guard our gates, I imagine he would be keen to pick up the scent once more.
We'll talk again later.
The Order of the Freeborn Blades is of great repute, and the mercenary does honor to its name. The mercenary's powers are both astonishing and fascinating. The knight would like to duel with the mercenary, that he may judge the mercenary's strength.
Sure.
Sure, I can never turn down a good fight. But maybe we should take it outside if we don't want to break everything in here.
The knight is honored and bows to his adversary's wisdom.
Wait for me here, Sybil. I won't be long.
A fight.
Knight hopes that his adversary will not hold back his blows.
Oh, you can count on it.
With such power, and he believes that he could be that which is needed to change the course of this war.
You fight pretty good yourself. Where did you learn your moves? Can't believe you learned to fight like that in this backwater.
The knight has traveled far and fought many battles. He has only lived in his village for a short time.
What are you doing in the middle of these swamps when you could be making a difference on the battlefield?
The knight has fought a great many battles, but he feels he can be more useful protecting those who have nothing left.
I have to go. I'm glad we could test each other's mettle. It was fun.
Before his adversary rushes off to fight other battles, the knight has a question for him. He wishes to know if the Freeborn Blades would like him to join them.
I'm not the one who decides who joins the company, but I can ask the captain for you.
He has thought long on it, and wishes it would be so.
Well, that's great. I'll ask him, but I can't promise you anything.
Mr. Vulcan, what brings you...
Let's talk about work. We'll talk again later.
I am busy, mercenary. Go do it.
Oh, fuck you, old fart. Yo. Piece of shit. Don't tell me to go do my job.
Kill him.
I can't kill him. He's a scribe. I kill him, we won't have a powerful sorcerer. But at the same time, I've got a demon in me. Where the fuck did Sybil go? Where the hell did this bitch run off to? What the fuck is this place? Oh, Jesus. I got a new weapon. Looks like a sledgehammer. What's in here? New guy was just in there. I'll go back in the same fucking village. Oh.
It's frustrating. I feel completely useless here.
Mercenary.
Tell me more about your order.
Before the war, our main objective in Creed was to collect and save all kinds of knowledge. We had a presence everywhere on the continent, and had chapters in every major city. We studied and preserved all possible sources of knowledge there. We also dispensed information and care. Because even though we're not the greatest magicians, our knowledge let us come to the aid of the wounded and the sick. I could of course relate our history in detail for hours and hours, but I doubt that is really what interests you.
You're right.
With all the knowledge accumulated by your scribes, you must have learned something about the Ice Lords, surely.
We do indeed know some of their secrets, and a good part of their history.
Anything we could use to fight them?
We thought we'd found a chink in their powers that our ritual was supposed to let us exploit. But you saw the result.
That's one way of putting it.
That said, I'm beginning to wonder if we haven't involuntarily brought about the conditions for their end.
I'm not following you.
What you have within you could well turn out to be their doom. Even if I don't have the faintest idea of how or why. And unfortunately, as long as we don't know more about it, we also have to fear that it might lead to our doom, too.
Can I do something for you?
No, thank you. I don't need anything for the moment.
According to the villagers, there's a beast haunting the swamp and it's attacked them several times.
I have heard about it, yes. And although I don't have any concrete information about the creature, there are some things that corroborate what they say. Even though we aren't very good at magic, we still feel it. And since we came to the swamp, we have all felt a powerful source nearby. The problem is that the source seems distorted, corrupted. Kind of like the one the Ice Lords use, only not the same.
I hope for our sake you're right about that. Otherwise we're really up shit creek.
We are very certain of it. But this magic could very well have transformed one or more creatures in the swamp, making them more aggressive, bigger. Who knows? Something to frighten the villagers, in any case.
So you're telling me the thing is magic and corrupted? Brilliant. Just what I needed. I need your help. I'll be going now.
Must be a dead guy on the bed. Why are you guys guarding a dead guy? Oh, of course, I'll sleep until... morning. I'm well refreshed.
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
Can I have a look at your stock?
I don't have any health potions. I should totally buy a couple. I've only got 76 gold, never mind.
Vulcan, you must help me. The prince is dying.
Well, I'm happy to see that my talents as a doctor are finally being recognized.
There's no doubt an explosion would cure him of all his ills forever. But I was actually thinking about your connections with the Red Scribes. If you could speak to them, it would save me having the prince's death on my conscience.
I wouldn't exactly call myself a friend of theirs. But yeah, I can always give it a try. I have a few questions I need to ask you.
Who is the prince?
Who's the elf in the healing house? Is he really your prince?
He is Prince Arundel, the son of our king and heir to the Elven crown. Therefore, yes, he is our king.
How the hell did he end up here?
Prince Arundel led a detachment of the Elven army sent to harass the Deadwalkers. And when he reached Bastion, he fell into an ambush. I got wind of this trap, but by the time I arrived, it was too late. When I caught up to the prince, he was already wounded, and most of his soldiers were dead. Those who survived covered our retreat.
To here?
Yes. The route to Carolthas was too dangerous. I knew about this village and felt that it would be secure for at least a little while. As soon as he gets better, we shall leave for Carolthas. The remainder of the human and elven armies are gathering there. That is where the final stage of the war will be played out.
Where are you from?
You seem different from the other elves I've met. Where are you from?
I'll be back.
I seem
I'll be back
different.
tomorrow.
And yet I have such pointy ears. And if you really want to know, I actually come
Alright,
from one
buddy.
of the most ancient and noble houses that exists.
Going to my friends.
I'm even linked to the royal family. But I can assure you that I'm sufficiently far down the line of succession to be in no danger of being crowned. And my reputation is no help either.
Alright, buddy. I'll
As
see you
far as
later.
bad reputations go, every mercenary has got one, so
Thanks
we're
for
used to it.
watching.
Let's just say that I got into enough trouble to eventually be considered a traitor to my people. When I got involved in the war, I disagreed with decisions made by the king. He thought that this war, like so many others, would not last. That the conquests won by the Ice Lords would melt away like all the human victories before them had. But I thought differently. Right from the start of hostilities, I began to requisition certain resources I felt necessary for those doing the fighting. More food, more weapons, better armor. When my people discovered what I'd done, I was declared an outlaw, and many saw me as a thief, which, in a manner of speaking, I guess I was.
So you are a traitor and a thief. No, I think they should
Bunch of
listen.
cowards. If they had listened to you, we wouldn't be in this mess.
I've been telling myself that for years, but I do understand their point of view. It is flawed, but not entirely thoughtless. They have had some time to prepare their forces and to learn the strengths and weaknesses of the Deadwalker army. This knowledge might allow us to turn the tide of the war, even if it does seem too little too late at this point.
Do you know these swamps?
I've been in this area long enough to have explored a fair amount of it, actually. The region is rather inhospitable, which I suppose is a good thing under the present circumstances.
A good thing? You're out of your mind.
These swamps are a labyrinth. The Deadwalker scouts will never be autonomous enough to find their way to the village by themselves.
That means we should be fairly safe for the moment. At least until a general or an Ice Lord comes to town.
Except that recently, there has been a change in these swamplands. And I must admit that I no longer feel safe at all.
What do you mean?
Something is affecting the swamplands, corrupting the vegetation and the animals. And I have no idea what it is.
It's the
But
beast.
anything that grows or lives here could become a threat. So I strongly recommend that you watch where you put your feet.
Elves are pretty rare. I haven't had the chance to talk to many. Can you tell me more about your people?
We are born in the trees, eat only seeds, and we spend all the livelong days singing.
I get the feeling you're fucking with me.
Perish the thought. Well, it's just that we aren't that different from you humans, despite what one hears. Our civilization is obviously a bit older, so we have had the time to learn from our mistakes. We don't really live in the same rhythm as you do. We move a little slower, and most of us are prone to having at least some respect for the past. This is the reason why we never destroy anything, that we prefer to build on top of things.
I've heard that you are immortal.
That joke has lived for 15 generations. I will never get tired of it. No, we're not immortal. We live long lives, though, much longer than you. We are resistant to poisons, rotten food, and toxic body odor, apparently. Unfortunately, these things do not make us immortal.
Don't elves ever make war?
That's an impression we like to give other people. The fact is, we do go to war, just never against each other. You must understand that, given our long lifetimes, battles are fairly futile. This may well be what has motivated the choices of our king concerning the Ice Lords. But we certainly know how to fight. And we'll see proof of that soon enough.
So it's the prince who gives the orders.
The word orders may not be the best one. We do not submit nor obey easily. Our kings are a reference, wise men who can point out the way. They tend to guide us rather than give us orders. But to answer your question, it is his father the king who is the leader of our people.
Let's change the subject. I need your expertise. Will you come with me?
Of course I will. Lead the way.
Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
What do you want to know?
I need your help. Come with me.
If you want.
Relmar, you got a minute?
Yes?
I need your expertise. Will you come with me?
Of course I will. Lead the way.
Well, I've only had one fight since we started streaming, and I lost about 6, 7 times, maybe 8.
So, you have returned. What is your desire?
The steward said there was a beast attacking the villagers.
This is what one hears, yes. Something is wandering through the swamps, devouring the reckless. The saddest part is that it's often the guards who end up lost, along with their equipment. Meanwhile, we are overrun with refugees who serve no useful purpose at all.
Show me what you have for sale.
I want that.
So, you have returned. What is your desire?
I need more info about Valvanor.
And you have decided that I have a sympathetic face.
It's not often you see an elf blending in with other cultures. Are there many of you here in Valvanor?
To my knowledge, I was the only one. That is until Prince Arundel and his acolyte arrived. Does that pose a problem for you?
Not at all.
Well, it does for me. His Majesty the Prince of Imbeciles is going to bring us nothing but trouble.
How curious. I was given to understand that insulting the Sovereign was a crime, even for an elf exiled to live among the humans.
How curious. I was given to understand that the Sovereign in question was in a coma, and that you are in no position to be lecturing me. We both know that good King Arundel IV is an idiot, and by his inaction he's condemned the entire elven nation, and possibly all the others as well.
Do you know the woman who runs the healing house?
Oh, of course. She's all one hears about lately. Everyone here will tell you that she's a courageous woman, fighting a noble battle. Everyone but me. The woman's insane. There are already far too many mouths to feed in this camp. Clearly, she's fully aware of this, yet she stubbornly insists on making things worse.
And the Red Scribes? Know anything about them?
Oh, certainly. A boring bunch of fusspots, spreading science and preaching the good word while never suspecting that anyone might see through their little game. Well, at least they're kind enough to leave me alone. Unlike some.
What can you tell me about the steward?
Oh.
Let's talk about something. I'll be back.
That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, who are you? One of them fucking mercenaries, right?
Fucking mercenary, yeah. Sounds about right.
You know what I call your lot? Ore blades. I got no time for ores.
At least the whores work. If you got enough money to get trash while you're on watch, they pay you too much.
Go fuck yourself, Warblade. Do I have to spit it out?
Would you just shut your stupid mouth for 2 seconds, please? The steward sent me here to help you.
Oh, that's all I need. Don't he think I got enough on my plate? Now he sends me some Warblade from God's nowhere. Hey, as long as it ain't me is paying for you, hey? You want to help? Knock yourself out. But I warn you, there's plenty to do.
Get to the point before I set your breath on fire.
All right, take it easy. No need to get nasty, eh? You want to help? Yes or no?
Keep talking.
Well, for a start, you could try and find one of my patrols that's gone missing. At first, I thought maybe one of those half-wits was sleeping it off under a tree somewhere. But it's been a while now. Maybe something bad happened to him in the swamp.
I guess I could go back and check.
What a coincidence. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. After that, well, I suppose a pro like you, I guess you would be useful helping out the sentries. It won't be luxury. I don't know if you've seen what we're supposed to fight with, but wow, if you can have a word with your quartermaster to see what he can do for my lads, you have my blessing. The benediction of a drunk. Better and better.
It's what all us fucking mercenaries dream of. All right, I'll see what I can do.
Right. We may be living in the arsehole of Virgil, but being armed like a bunch of tramps, we can do without. And while you're at it, when you've been to the forge, you'll probably feel like letting off steam a bit. Why don't you go and take it out on my lads?
What do you mean?
Kick their arses so they can't sit down and get drunk instead of patrolling. And show them a couple of tricks while you're at it. A bit of training. Couldn't do no harm.
Your men can't afford to keep their thumbs in their asses. It's time to teach them how to use those weapons.
Knock yourself out, Payblade. I'll go and shake them awake. Time to go again, while they're still warmed up.
Why not? Let's go.
So, they are making progress. If you whack them enough times, they remember how to defend themselves. Are you up for giving them one last lesson?
One last lesson.
learned here today will save their lives one day.
My pleasure. I like this way of saving lives.
My goodness, let's see. You're not pissing blood, you're not vomiting your guts out. Both legs are in place and they seem to be holding you upright. Congratulations. It looks like you'll pull through. And now you'll excuse me, but I have other miracles to accomplish, and not much time to devote to people in your condition.
Take it easy there, Doc. I'm with the Freeborn Blades, not one of your refugees.
You could be Blackstorm himself for all I care. Now get out of my way, I have things to do. Haven't you anything better to do than bother me?
Hang on a sec. The steward himself sent me here to give you a hand.
Wonderful. I've been after him for months to get me some help, and he sends me an armed ape. You practice medicine, I presume? Your tools seem rather barbaric.
For someone with so much to do, you sure do talk a lot. So let's get this figured out, because I've got some shit to do too. Either you need help and you want me to handle it, or you don't and you deal with it yourself.
Well then, I suppose I have nothing to lose. In fact, there is something that you could doubtless do for me. I'm worried about my assistant Heyman. I haven't seen him for a while now, and I fear he might have gone into the swamps to look for the plants I need. We're forced to venture further and further in to find...
Stubborn? Yeah, I hate people like that.
Please find him. He's a good boy. He's done nothing but help others since he arrived. Without him, the House of Healing would be a house of death.
If I'm gonna be slogging through the swamps anyway, might as well take a look around and try to bring back the plants you need too, right? You got any drawings or descriptions?
Yes, that's a good idea. I would be grateful to you. But above all, try to bring back my assistant Heyman in one piece. He is your priority. For the rest, basically, I need food, medicinal herbs, and of course, I wouldn't say no to a few pre-prepared potions. All of our stock seems to disappear so quickly. I'll give you the parchment that I made for Heyman to help you recognize the specimens I need. He knows them by heart now, after so many trips.
Right. Plants, potions, chow, and one assistant. If I come across any elven tea, would you like a cup of that too?
That would be lovely.
Let's talk about your healing house. I found you a few health potions. Ah, shit. I don't have enough yet. I'll be back later. I'd like some information about the village and its inhabitants. What did you do before the war?
Before the war? Please don't tell me you're naive enough to believe that this war only started 10 years ago.
That's what everybody says.
I come from Shorelin, a faraway land in the north that the Ice Lords probably wiped off the map some time ago. Because no one is left to write the history books other than a fanatical cult more interested in arcane magic than in human science or medicine. The fact remains that the war is far more ancient than that. For as long as I can remember, I have always known war. I was only just learning to walk when Marshal Winters invaded my homeland.
I've heard of this Ice Lord. Winters the Bloodthirsty.
I wandered along the main roads for years, always heading further south, staying just ahead of the advancing Deadwalkers. First with my sister and a family of neighbors, then just with my sister, then all alone. Until the day I met the man who would become my husband. A remarkable elf who taught me how to heal and how to love and help those near me. But after years of fleeing, and ending up here in this isolated village so in need of healers, we decided to put down roots. Roan died 8 months ago, leaving me alone and in charge of the House of Healing that we had built together.
So what do you think of the steward?
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Too late if you ask me.
If I were you, I'd be wary of him. He is not as honorable as he would have you believe. Know that before the war, he was just a lackey, bowing and scraping before all the people of power that passed by. Due to a superior's mistake, he thinks he's in charge now. He's a latecomer, nothing but an opportunist, ready to do anything to keep his little piece of power. I've had the misfortune of experiencing his sense of priorities. When he no longer has a use for you, he lets you know you're not welcome.
I can't say I disagree with you there. This asshole treats everybody like his personal slaves.
For the moment, he treats you well because you serve his needs. This might not always be true, and then your lives will be threatened.
He'd go that far?
I didn't found a House of Healing alone. It was with my husband, Ron. He was not a great warrior, nor a renowned strategist. His only gift was for healing. He was my teacher before becoming my husband. The steward welcomed us with open arms. We took care of his men, his villagers. Then the refugees started arriving in greater numbers. Too many for Chambriad, who ended up closing the gates and pretending that these people simply didn't exist. Ron was furious. He tried to make him understand that he would heal everyone, no matter what. And if the self-proclaimed leader of the village wasn't capable of taking care of anyone other than himself, that he would do it. A few days later, I came back from the swamps to discover Ron in agony in the healing house. He had been poisoned.
You think this was the work of the steward?
Who else would have reason to kill him? Everyone loved him and counted on him. Chambriad thought that without him, the healing house would close and that the number of refugees would diminish naturally. Unfortunately for him, I will continue my husband's good work even unto my dying breath. He gave me an even greater reason to keep going.
This healing house is a waste of time and resources. These people are but dead weight.
Who are these refugees you're helping?
They are the outcasts of the war. Those who didn't have the privilege of dying in combat, or who lack knowledge of the arts of the forge. No one wants them. If I don't help them, nobody will.
You're doing the right thing. Taking care of them is good for everybody's morale. The ones who do the fighting want to know they aren't doing it for nothing, and that their people won't be abandoned while they're gone.
That is far from the only reason. But I'm very happy to hear you say it.
I'm looking for a blacksmith. You know where I can find one in the village?
You could go and ask Esael for what you need. He's an elf who lives nearby. He's a rather odious character, but there isn't any alternative really, unless...
Unless what?
While speaking with the refugees, I learned that one of them used to be a blacksmith, but he arrived here with nothing other than a dying cow. His name is Renko, I believe. I don't know if he's skilled, and without a forge he may not be much help. But he is certainly much more pleasant than that horrible elf.
Have you heard any rumors about a beast wandering around in the marshes?
Yes.
They are not rumors. There is something in these marshes, and I have a patient in a coma that confirms it.
Something? What does that mean? Where can I find it?
I don't know exactly what it is. The wounds don't resemble anything seen around here before. What you seek is large, powerful, and obviously has enormous claws at its disposal. The wounded man was found west of the swamps, crawling towards the village. If you really wish to fall upon that beast, that would be a good place to start. But bear in mind the possibility that it may be the beast which falls upon you.
I'd like to see what you have to sell.
Mr. Vulcan, what brings you?
Let's talk about war. I need to report.
I fear I am on all I know. The swamp, the refuge.
It might be.
That is so. Now that...
I've got a few. I talked with Marana. She thinks you poisoned her husband.
That is totally absurd. The woman is losing her mind. Her husband died of a sickness, just as many others have died before him. The swamp is a hostile place, and not merely because of its fauna. The very air, the food, the insects, all are deadly here. The woman is bereft. Very well. Her loss was great. She believes I'm not doing enough for the refugees. Very well, that is her opinion. But she goes too far. If she does not cease her vile allegations, I will have her cast out.
Sounds like a misunderstanding to me. And it's not gonna go away until you sit down together and talk it through.
Talk. Thy tongue is never at rest. Aye, and to what end?
You speak as though we hadn't tried to do that many times these past months. Good gods, talk some sense.
Elves are immune to poison. Any apothecary with enough wit would know such a thing.
A surprising argument, but pertinent nonetheless. I shall remember it if I find the time to go and speak with Marana.
Let's talk about work. I've got a few questions. We'll talk again later.
I am busy.
Well, fuck you too.
Oh there, Powder Man. You still didn't manage to blow yourself up?
Pretty quiet around here, huh?
Yeah, too quiet for my taste. Do you really imagine the Deadwalkers are going to forget about this place just because this swamp is dangerous?
No, but it'll slow them down. Maybe we'll see them coming.
Ha! You can bet your ass they're already here. There's something in the air that stinks, and I don't mean the locals either.
I have a few questions for you. Do you think we can win against the Deadwalker army?
Against the Deadwalker army? No chance. Now, the Ice Lords, that's another question.
What do you mean?
Only that sometimes you have to try to chop off the head, you know? That bunch of walking corpses wouldn't be any trouble at all if there was no one to guide them.
I guess you're right, but I don't think that makes the task any simpler.
There was a time, way back, you know, when there were so many of us in the company, several hundred, that the captain decided to delegate. So he chose 2 lieutenants. Those 2 assholes fought over how to share out the men for weeks. They both wanted to take the best men for their group. And the result? We had our asses handed to us by an army that was hardly more numerous than we were. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Deadwalkers are just the same. You've got 7 bosses, and each one of them wants to control everything.
So if we were able to set them against each other?
Now you're thinking straight. I don't know how we could do it, but I'm sure that it's possible.
So, you made it out of the temple then?
I did. I suppose my time's not up yet. I guess that'll cause more gossip amongst the youngsters. The eternal survivor. My balls. There are some days when I wish it would be over.
I tell you, you'll be the one that buries all of us. How are the Freeborn Blades holding up?
We left some blood on the stones in the temple, but most of the company got away all right. But if we don't get some new recruits soon, things are going to get serious. The captain has sent some men ahead to Karalthas. I hope they manage to pick up a few recruits, and they're not too scabby.
Is there anybody in this village worth recruiting?
See for yourself. There isn't a single man amongst the guards or the refugees that knows which end of a sword you're supposed to hold. We'll just have to wait. And be careful.
See you later.
A good day to you, soldier. I do believe that today is your lucky day.
Really? What are you gonna try to sell me?
Sell?
Oh, now you're trying to make me feel bad. No, unfortunately I have nothing left to sell. Other than some first-hand information that will surely be of use to you.
Information? What information?
Hey, you know what? Some kind of reward would be appreciated. It's just that with the war, we have so little left.
Here, take this. What do you have?
Apparently, the Red Scribes have found a way to win the war. They found someone capable of breathing fire, who's gonna burn up the Ice Lords just by looking at them.
Me?
I don't believe it. You took my money for that? You fucking with me?
I swear, it's true. Please, we're starving.
I'll let it slide this time, but don't you ever try to rip me off again, unless you're tired of using your hands. I wanted to ask you, have you ever met the steward?
He came to see the refugees several times, but I never spoke to him. I got the impression he couldn't stand us. He's the boss of little people, see?
How are things going with the guards?
No, we don't see them too much around here. They're basically here to guard the village. They don't give a shit about the refugees, so they keep their distance. And I hope for the steward's sake that he's not counting too much on them to keep him safe. I've seen lots of soldiers on the road, but as useless as them, never.
You ever hear about a beast that lives just outside the village?
Everybody's talking about it, so yeah, I've heard things. But there are animals everywhere out here. You can hear them howling and snarling all over the place during the night. But I do believe there is something bigger and meaner than the others. As far as what it is, though.
Life of a refugee can't be easy.
I've been a refugee for years. 5 to be exact. All these years on the road. And believe me, it's never easy. But this village is a pretty good place. The healing house gives us food most of the time, and we're safe. That's not bad.
Seeing as how you're pretty resourceful, I figure you know everybody here. Is there a smith somewhere around?
Yes, there is one. Me.
I should have guessed. Another con?
Not at all. Listen, I understand you might think I'm some kind of charlatan. But before being an outcast starving in the worst hole in the swamp, I was a blacksmith. The problem is that I don't have any forge or equipment. Otherwise, believe me, I wouldn't be out here begging just to survive.
Why not use the village forge?
I tried that, but that idiot, the so-called artist that works there, almost took my head off and started throwing everything that wasn't nailed down at me. No, what I really need to work right is my equipment, my forge cart.
And where is your cart?
At the other end of the swamp, unfortunately. Here, look. I'll show you on your map.
I'll get it back for you. You'll help me fix up the guard's equipment. Agreed?
Agreed. On one condition, of course. That you also get me some supplies. Let's see. There aren't that many guards, so about 10 pieces of raw metal, 10 good leather hides, and 10 pieces of refined metal should do the trick.
Well, I hope with all that, our guards will be well equipped. Hello.
You could at least answer when I ask you a question.
Greetings, mercenary.
Will you be able to help me?
The problem is...
Why not you?
I tried...
And...
At the...
I'll get it back.
Agreed. Let's see.
Well...
These people are amateurs. This village is about...
I'll deal with this, Captain.
Good. I'm counting on you. Remember, if you screw this up, we'll all be joining the ranks of the Dead Walker army as soon as their scouts find this place.
Captain, just fought a duel with Randval. guardian of the village. And before you start yelling about wasted energy, I want you to know that it was him that insisted on it. He's one hell of a fighter. He hits you like he was chopping down a tree, and he can take a blow and shake it off. He wants to join the Blades.
I have the feeling that every new recruit I take on these days is headed straight for the cemetery. But considering the losses we've suffered, I suppose I can't refuse. Bring him here to me. I'll check him out.
The villagers told me about a beast. I have to find its lair.
Hawk talked to me about that a while ago. He said he'd found some suspicious-looking tracks that led back to the northern swamps.
I'll go and follow the tracks. Where's Hawk?
No idea. I sent him off to scout that part of the swamp, but he hasn't reported back yet.
The villagers told me about a beast.
Hawk talked.
I'll go and...
No idea.
Captain, I wanted to ask... Do you really think we should be trusting these red scribes?
Vulcan, I'm not going to try and make this pretty. These are tough times. Thanks to this cursed war, our list of potential clients is shrinking faster than my dick when I jump into an ice bath. I get it, that after what happened in the temple, you'd like to send them all packing. This whole demon business is complicated. But we are mercenaries after all is said and done. We're not a charity. We're only as good as our clients. And you know, even if they did screw things up back there, they were right to try and find some way to beat the Ice Lords. What's the alternative? Lie down and wait to freeze?
Thanks to them, we all nearly bought it back at the temple. I'm not even convinced it was an accident.
You have a point. And since we don't want to finish up as a pile of bodies under a snowdrift, we're going to keep a sharp eye on them from now on.
Why did we fall back to the swamp?
The Red Scribes knew of this place and said that we'd be safe here for a while. And apart from a few repulsive beasties creeping around outside the walls, it's actually quite peaceful. I don't think I'd buy a house here, though, would you? No. So we'll heal our wounded, try and learn what's happening to you, and then get the hell out of here.
Do you think the company is going to make it?
Of course. The Blades have always come through. They've existed for more than 2 centuries. They won't give up now. Not during my watch. But to tell you the truth, we're not looking too fresh. Not with the losses we took back at the temple. And as for new recruits, it's been what? A year or more since we found anyone worthwhile.
Most of us were recruited when the war began. And there aren't many of us left. The only available recruits now are either cowards, deserters, or kids.
If we're gonna hold this village, we're going to have to do it using the locals. Even though most of them look like they couldn't organize a party in a brewery. As soon as we've recovered a bit, we'll break camp and head for Carroll Pass. I already sent some of the Blades ahead to see if they could find any new recruits. With a bit of luck, they'll come up with something better than one-armed, no-legged trolley rollers.
Do you really think we should be trusting these red scribes?
Vulcan, I'm not going to try. I get it, but we are mercenaries, and you know.
Think
you have a point.
You wanted the Freeborn Blades to...
As long as we have to stay.
I'm leaving. There should be enough food. We'll see what Marana says when we get back to the healing house.
Oh, fuck you.
Anybody home? Here, I got those ingredients you wanted. And some things to eat as well.
This is very generous of you. I promise you this will save many lives.
What is the point? As useless as bandaging a corpse.
That just leaves the health potions. I brought you everything you asked me for.
Yes, we are making progress. Is there anything else?
Let's talk about your healing house. I'm still looking for your assistant.
Here? I serious, please,
I'll take my leave.
Heard talk of a troubling event that happened during the meeting between the mercenary and the steward.
Yeah, the short version is that I have a demon living inside of me.
A demon? The knight has never heard of such a creature. Should he be worried?
Don't worry about it. The thing inside of me allows me to control fire. Could be pretty useful against the dead walkers, huh?
Evidently. But is there not a risk that this creature will devour the mercenary?
A risk? Not yet. It needs me, and I have it under control. I talked with the captain. He wants to see you. Come on, follow me.
I got piss. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Vulcan, I do love our little.
Captain, this is Randval. He talks funny, but he can kick ass.
So, it's Randval, is it?
That is the knight's name. How can he prove his valor to you?
Alrighty then. glad you warned me that he talks a bit funny. Right then, laddie. All you have to do is fight a duel with me. And do your best.
It will be an honor to fight with the man who they say has never been beaten.
If you think you can flatter me into letting you off lightly, forget about it. Like I said, do your best.
The knight hopes that he will be the first to vanquish him. He will not hold back his blows.
That's more like it. Let's see what you've got, laddie. Not bad. Not bad at all. Welcome to the Freeborn Blades, my boy. We were starting to be seriously short of fighters worthy of the name, and you fight like a man. So you're a ways off from beating me. Vulcan, he's your recruit. You can take care of him. Go on, away with you.
Welcome to the Freeborn Blades, friend. Don't take it so hard. The entry fight is a humiliation we all had to go through. Me included.
The captain deserves his post and his reputation. He is an exceptional warrior. The knight will be proud to serve under his orders. After such a combat, the knight will need to rest for a moment. He asks that his friend, and now brother, come to find him when he has need.
Okay. See you later. The mercenary salutes you, knight. Randval, I need you. Come with me.
The knight is proud to be of service.
My respect, General, sir.
Name, rank, and mission, soldier, and make it fast.
Right, Private Bumpkin, General, sir. Assigned to the northwest gate to prevent any intrusion, extradition, to keep them monsters from getting into the village, General, sir.
Private Bumpkin? Are you fucking with me?
No, General, sir. That is the name Boss Guard Mason gave me because it's true, I am from the country, sir.
I see. I would like you to give me some information about the village. What do you think of the Boss Guard?
General, sir, Boss Guard Mason, he is a good boss. He is, competent and,
Be honest, soldier. The one thing I hate is a liar.
It's just I don't want any trouble, General, sir.
You won't get any. I'm asking you this because I trust you, and nobody else will ever know.
Okay, General, sir. Because the thing is, well, Boss Guard Mason, I guess I don't think he is a very good boss, gentle sir. He insults us all the time. Never shows us how to do nothing. He spends all his time drinking like a chamber pot instead of doing his patrols.
Thanks for the information. It'll stay just between us. What do you think about the steward?
The steward? Well, I don't know much about him, gentle sir. But before the war, when he took care of the hunting lodge, he used to come and buy vegetables from my grandparents. But they didn't like him much. He always spoke to them like he thought they was scum.
All these refugees, are they causing any trouble?
Beer.
Well, it's true, there is a lot of them. So that means a lot more work for us. Sometimes one of them will try to sneak in and steal some food, but we don't never let them do that. Then again, we can't get too mad at them either. It's all because of the war. Those people are just like us, more or less, except that they've lost everything. And sometimes they help us too. A couple have even joined the guard when the boss thought they was good enough. Plus there's Renko. Well, he fixed up my granddad's spade. He's a real nice guy, that one.
I see. You stand in front of the swamps every day. You must know a lot about them, right?
Oh, not that much, General, sir. I never set foot out there. It's way too dangerous. Boss Mason posted me at this here gate, and that is just fine with me. There's lots of monsters out there. I can hear them, and that's enough for me. And even when there's no noise, we hear the whispering and the... well, that's even worse.
The whispering?
Yes, General, sir. Sounds like my own mama's voice sometimes. Except that she's been dead these past 5 years. Plus, I can't make out one word she's saying. And that don't make no sense. Mom and me always understood each other.
Huh. I see. Let's change the subject. See you later, soldier.
Look at this. My favorite fucking...
About those sentry guards. So where exactly did the patrol disappear?
Somewhere out in the swamp to stop the chrysalids from regrouping too close to the village. But I specifically ordered them not to go too far.
I'll handle it. I'll go find them. A barfly like you probably knows a lot about the people here, I'm guessing, huh?
Flattery will get you everywhere.
What's your opinion of the steward?
My opinion? Tell the truth, I never liked how he talks, like an elf reject. But he does what he can. And honestly, he manages better than I do. Him and me, we ain't always seen eye to eye. For example, if it had been up to me, I'd have driven them refugees back into the swamps. And fuck what that bleeding art apothecary says.
You might want to listen to that apocryphy.
How's it going with the refugees?
I'm not a monster. I got nothing against sheltering a few brave souls. Most of my lads are blokes who are here to protect their families. But enough is enough. I just can't protect everybody. You can't squeeze a whole city into a fucking life raft.
How well do you know Randall?
Well, not enough to trust him with his airs and all. The night with this and the night with that. Having said that, he has saved us from a few accidents in the village. He's a damn good fighter, and he don't ask questions. Balls of steel, that one. Sometimes I think he must have a death wish or something. If that's so, he ain't taking the easy way out. But then, who gives a toss? When he turned up a few weeks ago, it certainly took some of the pressure off. But he acts like his shit don't stink. Obviously, me and the lads aren't good enough for the likes of him.
You look like you can probably handle a sword. How come you didn't get recruited?
Oh, just unlucky, I suppose. Last time an Alliance recruiter come through, I was stuck in the crapper. Worst dose of the shits I ever had.
Forget I even asked.
So, I never got to the front. I can't tell you how much I regret that.
I'm going. mercenary salutes you, Knight. I have a few questions I need to ask you. So how did you end up in the village of Valvanor?
When he saw that all his kin were slain, the knight was hungry for revenge and sought out battles to bathe his pain in blood. But in every battle, he lost more of his brothers in arms and faced an enemy that only grew stronger. The orders were always hazardous, with betrayals common and errors never-ending. Faced with these eternal difficulties and death, always more death, the knight lost his hope, and so he left the field of battle. He decided instead to take care of the war's victims, to protect them, even though he knew it could only last a short time. It is a final mission without any other hope but to give comfort and relief to a few innocent souls.
You mentioned the Order of the Ember Knights. What is that?
It is the order that the knight belongs to. They are the surviving warriors and honored soldiers of other orders that were lost during this war.
Oh, so it's kind of the Order of the Orphan Knights.
This name does not sound well to his ears.
Right. So you haven't always been an Ember Knight?
No. He was first a defender of the Algander Islands. Then he was a Templar of the Order of Virgins, and then a Brother of the Rock, and then a Summer Tracker.
So all of those orders have been lost. That must have been hard.
He has lost many valorous companions in battle, and his heart is heavy with scars.
I'll bet. So what is the creed of the Ember Knights?
The knight has long searched for the answer. Now he knows it. To seek a glorious death and carry as many enemies as possible away with him.
That's kind of depressing. If you follow me, we should be able to find a chance for you to get your beautiful death. Just try not to commit suicide at the first available opportunity.
The knight will wait for this moment.
So what did you abandon when you entered into the Order of the Ember Knights?
The knight has already said he does not wish to speak of this.
Fair enough. I won't ask you anymore. You're not from around here. Where do you come from?
The knight was born in the Algander Islands. It is a proud and savage place where the struggle against the wind and vicious neighbors makes a man strong. The Ice Lords attacked the islands more than 15 years ago, long before the rest of Vertiel knew that the world was now at war. The clans were always fighting, but they fought together as brothers when the islands were threatened. And as a defender of Algander, the knight had the honor to be one of the first to fight, and with his brothers for a long time he repulsed the invader. Some of the clan chiefs wanted to make peace with the Ice Lords, but the Ice Lords betrayed them, and the clans were decimated. Their numbers were sorely missed during the following battles, and in a few short months the war was almost lost. The knight was sent by the surviving clan chiefs to the mainland to find allies. But time is a cruel master. When he returned to his homeland, the islands were buried beneath the ice.
That's shitty.
What do you think of the Red Scribes?
Their studies have made them blind. Only knowledge interests them. They show contempt for all else. Today they have the ear of the last surviving warriors. They do not deserve this honor, and their words are hollow.
I agree.
Let's change the subject. So, how does it feel?
The knight is overjoyed to have new brothers in arms.
I'm going.
Well guys, I want to say thank you for watching this episode of CreamTV. If you like, leave a comment, follow, subscribe. If you want to see more awesome CreamTV content, really easy to do all what I just said. Turn on notifications, share out and engage me on social media, so up top of the overlay, they'll also be in the description below. If you have any favorite YouTube or Twitch channel videos, share them around as well. Like, comment on those. That helps out a lot. If you are a Twitcher or YouTuber yourself and you're familiar with the auto host, that's for Twitch. Basically what that means is, I'll use myself as an example. Say when you're auto host and I was streaming and you weren't streaming, your channel will automatically broadcast my channel. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, both get exposure. I have no problem doing that for you, just ask. And anyone with YouTube that's familiar with the auto feature channel, basically as myself as an example, maybe your auto feature channel, someone random clicked on your YouTube page and they went to it, they'd see my little channel icon page to go to my page somewhere on your page, depending on the layout. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, and I have no problem doing it back, just ask. And anyone that does both YouTube and Twitch that wants to do both for you, boy, I would so much appreciate it. Welcome to the Cream Pie. I'd love it. And as always, if you wish to make a donation to CreamTV, it's real easy to do. Just go to my Twitch page, there's an overlay, also in the description below, www.twitch.tv/mr_cr3am. Any amount counts, all funds appropriated are greatly appreciated. And we'll go to better hardware, better software, better gaming, better internet, and most importantly, a better viewing experience for you, the people of Twitch, YouTube, wherever else have these videos, where else these videos find their place, and of course, the lovely legendaries of the Creeper! As always, pardon the interruptions. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and most importantly, stay creamy and tuned in for the next awesome, godlike creamy fucking goodness. Thank you.